Hey, it is Thursday the 22nd, currently 7:05. We are at camp, and I'm in my tent, done with most of my camp chores. Wanted to give you kind of an update. It's been about 3 days since the last update. It's the 22nd now. I think it was the 19th. I was just looking at my log. But either way, the last time we talked, I was in my tent, showed you a view of Tuolumne. I believe that's how you say it, Tuolumne River, right outside of my tent. Turns out the following morning we thought we had crossed it. We had crossed a bridge that goes over the Tuolumne River, but it goes over it again in about a mile and a half after that. So that's what we got to do the following morning, is go through what seemed like a labyrinth of, snow, no snow, water, no water. Tried to get our way through that once we did, and we found that crossing. It was pretty similar to the crossing that we had done earlier. Water came up about mid-thigh. Luckily, there was no or next to no current, but it was right at the beginning of the bridge. And that shit was cold. That's, if I had to guess, probably in the 30s all snow melt. But we did that, and then just kind of the way it lined up, there was another body of water. I thought it was all part of the same creek crossing that we went over across. Turns out that was another creek that we didn't have to cross, so then we had to turn around and come back. So that kind of stunk. So pretty cold early in the morning. Pretty slow early going, started to make some decent miles, and then in the afternoon I ended up having a migraine come on. I don't get migraines that often, but when I do, they're pretty bad. Normally some nausea and vomiting, and of course the whole headache thing. But ended up making it to camp. I lost my tent stakes that day. Not sure if I left them at camp or if I left them where we stopped for lunch. We got some stuff out to dry. I'm not sure if I left them there, but lost my whole bag of tent stakes. So luckily, Tough isn't using hers right now. She's using her snow stakes. So she actually came out with 2 sets. So that worked out, but still not a good thing. And put a little hole in the bottom of my bag glissading down the hill at the end of the day. Just a tip from my ice axe poked in. It's just where the water bottle pocket is. It's not a big deal, but still, just was not my day. The next morning, I woke up sick, needing to throw up. I think I had another migraine overnight. At least the nausea pattern seemed to be pretty much identical to when I get migraines. So not sure what that was about. But for the first 3 or 4 hours of the next morning, I threw up a couple of times, and every 15-20 minutes trying to hike up this hill, I'm having to have everybody stop and wait. And I told them to go on several times, that I'd catch up when I felt better. But they didn't, which was probably the right move on their part. We are in the Sierras on the snow. But luckily, once we got up the pass we had that morning, after the first, probably 4 or so hours of hiking, started to feel a bit better, making better time. And then I got another migraine last night at the end of the day. Had Nora start to come on right as we were looking for camp. So I'm not sure what's going on. That's unusual for me. Normally like 2 to 3 times a year I'll have a migraine. Sometimes they kind of come in clusters, but normally it's like I might have 2 or 3 over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, where I haven't had any in 6 months, not like 2 or 3 in the matter of 24 hours, which is what it seems kind of happened here. So not sure what's going on with that, but either way, hope it's all behind me. We are out here now, less than 30 miles. I think we're about 25 miles away from Kennedy Meadows, so over 90% of the way through the Sierras. I think all of our real sketchy creek crossings are behind us, and we're pretty much coasting in. We've got about 14 miles I think we're going to do tomorrow to leave us with about 11 going in the final day. So not all good times. Which is okay. It's it's a long journey. There are going to be days that suck. There are going to be days that are great. Overall, I'm glad to be out here, but some days are a struggle to get through, and that's just, that's just kind of how life is, and that's okay. But today was pretty good. Slept in a little bit yesterday. I think, the excuse was that we had the creek crossing early on, but I think I have a couple of good group members that were looking out and wanted me to get a little bit of extra rest, so it was good. So we shall see. It's going to feel good to get to Kennedy Meadows. I know that Kennedy Meadows North, the next one, I know that that's not going to be the end of the snow by any shot. But it's going to be a good milestone, and it should mean that the worst is behind us. So here we go, trudging through one day at a time. I'll talk with you next time. Hey, here comes an update actually from the trail for the first time in a while. We are less than 8 miles from Sonora Pass, and we're on dry trail. We love to see it. We've actually had some service, and then because of the peak to my right, lost it. So just got done talking with my mom. And just wanted to kind of recap a little bit. I feel like this last resupply's been, at least for me, a little bit of a shit show with the migraines that I had, and having a couple of tough days and not keeping up with the updates like I normally do. But here we are. It is, let's see, 6:10 a.m. on the 24th of June, and we should be just about 3 or 4 hours or less away from exiting the Sierras. Sonora Pass and Kennedy Meadows North is kind of seen as the northern gateway of the High Sierras. Doesn't mean we're going to be out of the woods entirely, but should be a lot better from there. So we did an update a couple of days ago, didn't do one yesterday. Yesterday was a good day. Tough woke up a little bit late. I should have noticed. I got up to use the bathroom and didn't see your headlamp on when we were getting ready, so a little bit of a late start, but the miles were actually not as heinous as they can be sometimes. So got to camp kind of early, about 2:30. Only did about 13-14 miles. Thought about getting a little bit more in, talked it over, and we had a nice dry spot that we found with water close by. If we kept going, it would have been dry camp, so would have had to pack our water with us, and there was just no need. 11 miles to Kennedy Meadows is just fine. So this morning we had a pretty big up, got separated a little bit. I was leading and did beach things, and wanted to find another way up, quicker, more direct. The trail was all snow covered, so we ended up, me and Tough kind of found our own way up, which was all right, but beached wanted to go a little more straight up, I guess. So, but it was all good. Service, and with service, got a text message from River Dance. Today getting back on trail and going north from Truckee, which is a couple 100 miles north of us. So I would say that I probably won't see him again, which is kind of sad. River was a good guy. But if it was, 50 miles, something like that, okay, maybe he slows down, we try and catch him. But even 50 would be a lot for that. But a couple 100 miles, boy's gone. So it's all good. We'll see. No idea what the trail has in store. We may see him again, but I doubt it. My right hand here is getting awfully cold, so we're gonna have until my left hand gets tired of holding this here phone, and then we're gonna say goodbye. But it was really nice this morning. Once we got up, not all the way to the tippy top, but most of the way up, me and Tuff sat down. There was a little piece of exposed trail. Got to sit on dry ground and look out and kind of enjoy one last Sierra sunrise. So the sunrise here is different than in different places because there are mountains all around. So the sun's not coming up over a flat horizon. It's coming up over the mountain tops, which is just different. You still get those nice orange-red colors in the sky, but then the sun just never really seems to come up because it'll come up like half an hour later once the colors are already gone. But being able to sit there and kind of look south, look at some of the peaks, and kind of think, I walked here, I went over that, I made it through, and it's kind of cool. The Sierras is only 300 miles. It's, only a little more than a tenth of the entire trail, but it's a tricky section. And this year, there's a nice little lake down there. I'll show you that. Not too shabby views. But this year, with the snow, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a harder single parted section of the trail. So definitely feeling pretty happy, feeling pretty content, pretty satisfied to have this bit over with. With that being said, we're only a little over a third of the way done with the trail as a whole. We've got about 1,600 miles yet to go, which 1,600 miles is more than I've ever hiked in a single go. So still a lot of work to do, but it feels good. That's kind of what I've found, is that what keeps me going through is a couple of things. One, just that, stupid determination, not knowing when to quit. And the other is focusing on the small victories. So I don't know if I'd call making it through the Sierra small, but small in the grand scheme of things. But we making it. I guess I shouldn't start celebrating too soon. We still got about 7 more miles, but we're out here. We're doing it. And yeah, I won't say so far so good, because like I said, this resupply kind of kicked my ass, but we're making it through. So until next time.